What's up, guys? My name is Isopa, and today we're going to be taking a look at minor Inferno control, as it stands in this meta. There's no collector here. There's no poison, so we're running Fireball Zap or Fireball Log. So here's the deck if you guys want to copy it. It's Minor, Princess, Inferno Tower, Ice Spirit, Mega Minion, Guards, Zap, Fireball. The most common replacements for this deck is you can trade off the Zap for the Log, or you can trade off the Guards for a Skeleton Army. I think trading off Zap for Log is okay. That's okay. Trading off Guards for Skarmy is not okay. For the simple reason that I think Guards are just better in this meta, where everybody's running Log. You can abuse people who log out your princess by doing pushes with your minor and Guards. It's and they do very well against, well, not very well, but they do well against Graveyard, which you're going to be seeing a lot. So I just kind of want to touch on this deck a little bit. This deck is not for people who are uncomfortable playing bad matchups. Like, this deck has a ton of bad matchups, especially in this meta, because there's no real way to get ahead other than like playing very well. Because this deck is very chippy. This deck is, yes, it's pretty cheap. It's 3.0 elixir, but still, there are just some really bad matchups that you can run into, like anything with Furnace, giant, like other graveyard decks. Tank Graveyard is very difficult for this deck to handle. Spellbait is also very hard, but we're going to be taking a look at Spellbait. So yeah, today we're going to actually be taking a look at 3 different games. The first one will be Spellbait, the second one will be RG Furnace, and the third one will be against the the ever popular Hog Rider Tombstone 2.8 deck that we did a video on our channel for. But the first one's going to be Spellbait. We're going to go into this. Spellbait is actually pretty difficult to win against. Maybe I should put my... Nah, I'll probably just keep the... But Spellbait is pretty hard because, like, the way Spellbait wants to win, they want you to get off of your cycle. Like, you know, you want to hold your Zaps, you want to hold your Logs for Goblin Barrel, you want to hold your Fireball for Minion Horde, but, like, you know, you're not always going to be in the correct cycle. What they do is they knock you off that cycle, and then you have to play to their tempo and their rhythm. And when it gets to that point, this deck doesn't really do very well, so you have to do your best to stay on course. Do your best to stay on course, and try your best to, like, be offensive, because, like, this deck has... It's foregoing, like, the Spellbaity cards, and is using more offensive cards, like Guards and Ice Spirit, and I think that's basically the difference, because there's no Goblin Barrel, there's no Minion Horde here. So in a starting hand like this, I'll probably just drop Ice Spirit at the bridge. Dropping Ice Spirit at the bridge is fine. It's 1 elixir. If they don't answer it, it's free 100 damage. It also psychos your hand. I see him play the Ice Golem over here, so I drop Princess down here. If anything's coming toward me behind that Ice Golem, the Princess will eventually be around here to shoot over this way. So the Princess is like a very good stagger card. By stagger, I mean you can just throw elixir into the Princess, and then eventually, like, you don't have to pay attention to her. She'll just do her own thing, or when you do pay attention to her, you know, try to get value out of her. You don't have to, like, there are some cards where you have to hold on to the card until the last moment. Princess isn't really like. Princess can be played proactively and then just forgotten about. So you don't sit at just 10 elixir and just keep on going. So here I see the log come in. My Mega Minion takes care of both of these. And a thing to note about this deck is that because you're using so much cheaper units than these people who are running like these big tank decks, these big push decks, you have to really maximize these cheaper units. So what you're gonna see me do here is after I defend, I'm gonna go on an attack. I'm gonna use this Mega Minion that's at full health and just got essentially what is like 5 elixirs worth of units. So I do a push here. I also drop the guards because I saw him drop the log, right? A really standard response for people like logging out your princess is to do a minor guard push. To do a minor guard ice spear push that would normally be stopped by a log, but you found a way to go through that. If they don't log your princess, then your princess stays alive, does damage. If they do, then you go and attack. Here, you play Skarmy, I zap it. A thing about Skarmy, when you have something like zap, as opposed to log, is that, you know, zap is instantaneous, can travel across the map. Anywhere, when people play Skarmy, so I played my miner back here, right? He played a Skarmy back here. What happens is that the Skarmy walks up like a sort of like a concave, trying to get around the miner. In this circumstance, you don't really want to just zap straight away. You want to wait till the very last moment where the Skarmy just like converges on your miner, then you zap. Otherwise, you run the risk of leaving leftover skeletons for no reason. The exception to that rule is if you're running Goblin Barrel yourself and you have zap, like this guy does, like the this guy named Dish has. Say he like sent Goblin Barrel over to my tower and I responded with Skeleton Army. Your response in that situation would be an instant zap so that your Goblin Barrel gets as much damage as possible. But with the miner example, it's the other way around. You want to wait and then try to get as many skeletons as possible. This is assuming that like they don't guess your miner with the Skarmy. If they do, I think your miner should just... So I zap, in order to make sure I don't take any damage, I fireball out this Goblin Barrel right away. If you see my hand, this Mega Minion was Fireball, so my hand was basically Fireball, Inferno Tower, Princess, and Ice Spear. He sends out a Goblin Barrel, and in my hand there's not really much else. Like, if I don't Fireball, my response is Princess and like Ice Spirit. And that's not very clean. I'm always going to be taking damage from that. So I might as well just respond with Fireball. Knowing that he has a spell bait deck, I know that there's a high chance of a minion horde coming, which I should be aware of, and it goes into our next point. But when people play, I see this mistake happen a lot when people play against, you know, the minor minion horde attack. I think from watching this guy, he did the attack wrong, but also I've seen people defend this attack wrong. So we'll first talk about it from like our point of view. Then I'll talk about it from his point of view, what he did wrong. Knowing this is coming, what you want to avoid completely, like you do not want this to happen. If you're running Princess, like with this deck, do not have the Princess target the miner. Never have it target the miner. Unless you can find a way to take out the minion horde right away. But that doesn't really exist when both of your spells got baited. We just got. So what you have to do in order for this miner to not, in order for your princess to not attack the miner, is that you have to play it above a certain threshold. I believe the threshold is kind of looks like, no, a little bit too high. Safe threshold would be something like, screw it, I'm just gonna go this. Something like this. Okay, yeah, okay. Something like this. If you play princess anywhere under here, something like that, right? The princess will target the miner, your minion horde is gonna connect to the tower, and you're gonna lose your tower. So what you have to do is play princess either along this line or above it, so that the princess automatically locks onto the minion horde. Other ways, you know, you just you'll see me defend this. I play Ice Spirit, and then I also play Mega Minion. So what happens is that like the whole entire push gets shut down. Knowing this, let's take a look from his point of view. What did he do wrong here? Most people who know how to play this push, this is a push. I call it the skill horde push. You miner and then, well, technically it's minion horde then miner, but whatever. Instead of playing the miner here, you should be playing the miner inside the pocket right here, so that what this does, if he plays the miner right here, is that he forces the princess that we would normally play comfortably like above this line or on the line. It severely forces the princess to move up. She has to like be up here in order to hit the minion horde reliably. If you play her anywhere here, she automatically locks onto the miner, and then the minion horde does a lot of damage. So you have to be very careful of that. Like, where else are you gonna really play your princess? If you play your princess here, locks onto the miner, locks onto the miner, locks onto the miner, locks onto the miner. So, yep. I even get a zap out of him because he needs to take care of this princess. The princess walks up, lives with HP. He's forced to log here. And knowing this deck, when he logs, we miner guard, because the guards are always going to get something. They can't just be logged away and then like ice speared. So we got Skarmy and we got Ice Golem for that push, and we got some chip damage. It's pretty good. I would just sit here and wait. You don't want to be too over eager. You could play princess at the bridge, but I mean, we could take a look at his cycle right now, and we know that playing princess at the bridge would actually be very good. But in game, when you're sitting at 7 and after a push you just kind of sort of failed. Also, if you play princess at the bridge, I know he can't have log because he just logged, but actually, probably princess at the bridge would have been the. Since out the goblin barrel, play Mega Minion, take care of it, and I think here it is. I play princess at the just like that. I'm trying to get another log. He is forced to play miner. Actually, does this really well. Forces my princess to retarget. I fireball this out. In the meantime, I also play a princess at the back. I mean, I play a miner at the back, play guards for the Skarmy, and I hold onto my zap for the goblin barrel. So a lot of things happened at once there. He goblin barrels, I'm gonna zap. He feeds me another 3 elixir with the miner because I decided to play the Mega Minion, and then this Ice Golem doesn't get anything. So knowing this entire like chain of events where he basically just threw a lot of elixir at me. What I'm doing here is that I'm sending out the miner. I don't think you see him quite yet. It's going to go this way. And I'm going to do something very cheeky here. Because I've been watching his cycle and I know what he can and cannot do. So there's the miner, and then I preemptive fireball. I preemptive fireball and he falls for it, plays the minion horde, loses the minion horde. I get the miner and I get fireball damage, and I get so much value from that. I know that I can force something out of him. He has to respond to me. Since he threw so much elixir into me, and then I can just force him to do something. Preemptive fireballing isn't something that you want to do early on in the game. There's no way you want to do it unless it's being forced out of you, like with furnace, which I'm going to show you next game. But even then, it's not really preemptive. This is preemptive. This is like just throwing it out, expecting that it'll get something. I know that everything in his deck so far is melee that he can defend with. there's no archers, there's no musketeer. So if he's going to take out my miner, it'll be next to my miner. So what you do is I send out the miner, I hover fireball, and as soon as it pops up, you want to give it a little bit of a wait so that the enemy can respond to it. Like if you send miner and then you already fireball, the miner will be underground and then the fireball will be coming. There's no way anybody will play into that. So you have to wait till the miner pops up a little bit and then fireball, so that it gives the opponent the chance to just panic and then put down a card. And that's sort of what he did here. That's what I have to say. Oh yeah, with ranged units it's a little bit different. You don't want to preemptive. With ranged units, they can put it anywhere. Most people like to put it back here, like this. So if you send out a miner, I would just wait and then fireball like that. It's one of the best ways of ending a game too. That's like really close, since the miner can go anywhere. Place miner. I know that I have this game in the bag so long as I defend right now. I'm going to zap, let the Inferno Tower just handle the scar on me, send out the miner, fireball, and just end the game at 380. We get, I mean, the game was pretty much over, but we got another value preemptive fireball there on a minion horde, so feels good, man. There we go. So the next game is going to be RG Furnace, which is one of the harder matchups. Like, RG for this deck is already pretty difficult because if you overextend, RG can just take your tower or do at least half your tower. With Furnace, it compounds the problem and it makes it so that this matchup feels really, really terrible. Like, if we take a look at our deck list, there's nothing really we can deal with Furnace besides Princess. Oh, but everybody runs Log, right? So you can't really rely on Princess anymore. What do you rely on? There's not that many answers, but that's what I'm gonna try and show you, like how to play out this matchup. It's very sloppy. No matter what, if the minor Inferno player is winning, it'll look sloppy because that's what you kind of are aiming for. There's no way to be able to like defend everything perfectly. That's not how this matchup works. It's very lopsided. I'd probably say this deck is like 30-70 against RG Friend. Well, depending on the skill level. Because there's so much you have to do. He drops the Furnace. I'm sitting at 10. I drop Mega Minion because there's nothing else in my hand. And already you can kind of see like this pressure that this Furnace is putting onto me. I send out the miner. And what I'm doing here is I'm trying to play my miner in such a way that it's like a bait. I want cards to come out in this vicinity so that I get a value fireball. I'm trying to value fireball out Furnace, Tower, units. That's like the dream scenario. That's what the miner is there for. But unluckily, he kind of plays the Mega Minion back here, and you'll see what happens. I hit the Furnace, but just a little bit too late. The Mega Minion doesn't cross the path. And here he drops off the RG. This is essentially like 10 elixir. And I'm trying to defend with about 7. All I remember when I was playing this game was thinking, if he had Zap, I lose right then and there. I lose a tower, and there's no way I'm going to. But RG Furnace, Lightning doesn't actually run Zap because Log is very much needed. Else, they wouldn't have an answer for Princess, which is back. So what you see here is I just zap him out. Takes out the RG. The other way I could have done it was use Ice Spirit. Ice Spirit is like higher reward, but you can mess it up a lot easier than just zapping stuff. Because I just remember there were fire spirits in there. The way to win this matchup, can't believe I didn't talk about it in the beginning, but you have to play very, very, very safe because it's so easy to overextend against RG Furnace RG. Like either one, it's so easy to overextend, and you're gonna kind of see it soon. Just like the chance to overextend, which I'm sure some of you guys would take, which I know that I've taken many times. And you're gonna kind of see like the discrepancy in this matchup too. Just like after having like many death scenarios where he could have taken my tower, the best case scenario is not that good, which is why like you have to be comfortable playing bad matches. He drops Princess. I'm sure a lot of you guys would be like, okay, he just drops archers back. I have a princess in my hand. I'm gonna drop princess at the bridge. What this does is, okay, I drop princess at the bridge, shoots at the archers. He has to respond, or else the archers die. The problem I have here with that sort of logic is that, well, it doesn't really make sense with the game plan that we have. Like, we want to play back. We want to make sure that we don't take any risks, that we don't overextend. Playing princess at the bridge against a person who's running RG Furnace when you don't know whether or not you're ahead or behind is overextend. So what you see me do here is that I just wait till 10. I drop princess and I try to play with it in mind that is now a log target. If he logs, then what can I do now that he doesn't have log? And that's typically just doing pushes. I send out the miner in the same exact way. And what happens here is that he doesn't react to the miner. Well, I mean, he did react to it. It was more a reaction to the mega. Just fire spirits here, takes out all of my miner health. The absolute wrong move that you could do right now is to fireball like that. You never want to just fireball Furnace and Tower alone unless you know that you're way ahead and that you just want to extend that lead. But think about it, like, just look at it right now. If I fireballed right now, okay, what do we get? This Furnace would be probably here, okay? This tower would be at about 1800 health because fireball does about 200. What do we trade for that? We are now at... We are now at about 1 going on 2 elixir, and he's 7 going on 8. The discrepancy here, 6 elixir, and 6 elixir equals what? In RG. Can this deck defend a 6 elixir deficit? Probably not. It can defend up to like 2, 3, 4 maybe. But beyond that is really high, and that would have actually just put you into a coffin. Oh my god, there's so many points in this. But another thing that's like super interesting, what he does is like the situation that's presented here. He plays RG all the way at the back. He has a furnace on the map, and I have a terrible hand. This is like the worst hand that you can have against RG right now because there's no way to prep. Like, what can you do? Like, go through the cards right now. I mean, I can go through the cards right now. Can I drop Inferno? No, because it's RG. It'll outrange it. Dead card. Can I fireball? We talked about this before. Fireballing a furnace and a tower? No bueno. Because you're probably going to need that in fireball, and it's not going to get you that value. Can you zap here? What are you zapping? Are you zapping the fire spirits? Or are you zapping the furnace? Like, it's not a good zap. So, that leaves the guards. How are you going to play the guards? Can you play it in this lane? No, because it's going to die to these fire spirits. What is the last logical thing that you can do then? Well, play guards here. That's about the only thing that I could do here. I play guards at the back. I get my cycle back. Like, I get to my princess, which I can use log target or something. and he will have to respond to the guards in some way, or else he gets some damage, or I get some damage. I drop princess in the opposite lane. I'm waiting. He drops archers. And he plays Scar me. The princess is able to get another shot before he attempts to log it. Miraculously, I survive, and we're like pretty even. So, just to show you guys how insanely hard this matchup is, like I cannot stress this enough when you're playing against RG Furnace. No, just like Furnace in general, I think. It's been a minute. We've probably died. We've probably almost died. Up to 1, 2, 3 times. And we're ahead. Like I would say we're even. No, I'm ahead. But I'm ahead by this much. That much health on his tower. And I didn't take any damage here, which is surprising. Well, almost surprising considering he has Furnace and I have nothing to deal with Furnace. But the way we came to this is just by playing very safely. By taking no risk. By taking essentially no risk and being very conscientious of our card. I drop Mega Minion. Send out the Miner. I play the Miner at the back this time. Because I'm pretty sure he's not going to play into me. So I'm going to take this slow. I see him sitting at 10 a lot. I drop guards all the way at the back. I have to make a decision here again because I'm going to be hitting 10 again. And I obviously can't just like drop an Inferno. So my decision is, do I fireball a Furnace or like fire Furnace and Tower or Archers and Tower? The decision I make here is that I'm going to fireball the Archers in the tower because I feel like the Archers are eventually going to be more of a bigger pain for me than the Furnace is. Wait 1 second. Have those allergies. Okay, so he plays his RG all the way at the back. This is 2 times elixir, and he's able to actually get out his second RG. I sort of disagree with this because look at this. What you're gonna see is that this Inferno gets so much value. It basically takes out 2 RG. 2 RG, like no, maybe like an RG. Instead, this RG could have been his lightning, but he went sort of overboard and played pretty greedy. I saved myself a lot of damage here. If you saw, I dropped Ice Spirit, and this Inferno is targeting the RG. Inferno will take out RG. This RG over here did target the tower, but the Ice Spirit stops that damage, and then it's just all about like crisis management here. I don't want to be dropping guards into Fire Spirits. I don't want to be value. I play Princess. I take pretty good amount of damage, bringing my like full health tower all the way down to midway. And now the game is like at its closest point because this is when you can start like really pushing on the RG Furnace player at this point when all of his units are everywhere and he's trying to like build up pushes after pushes. The Miner Fireball comes in really handy. There goes I Miner Fireball here. And I do something very, very important here, which I don't see many people do against RGs or Lava Hounds. This applies to like, I believe both of them. It applies to even like just like any tanks and Inferno Tower. I wish this would. want to show for the big sudden death. I play Inferno in a different position. It doesn't sound like much, but it actually probably kept me in the game. No, it actually did keep me in. We'll see very soon. This entire game I've been playing Inferno Tower. I've been playing the Inferno Tower right in the middle. So he's like conditioned, like he's thinking about it. Like ask yourself, like, why did he split scar me like that? Oh, because if an Inferno was in the middle, it would all go towards the Inferno, would distract it. So what this Inferno positioning does is it definitely changes the spot, but it will lock onto the next largest target, like RG. It'll lock onto the RG almost right away, and it can sometimes juke people, like as you'll see right here. He drops Mega Minion in the middle because he's already expecting the Inferno to be in the middle. And this allows me to pick off the Mega Minion easily, and I don't have to deal with it in a position of like power. I see log, so I immediately go into a push. And I don't think, yeah, if I had Fireball there, it would have been very iffy because I wouldn't have the elixir to deal with like this scar me RG push that's coming up on me. Gotta play very measured, very safely. Talked about before. Even in 2x elixir, you have to know the limits of this deck. And that's why I drop Inferno and Mega Minion, which is usually what you don't want to do if you know that they have lightning. But I drop them. I know that RG costs 6. I know that lightning costs 6. That's 12. If he drops this at the bridge, even in 2x elixir, it takes them just a little bit. By that time, I know that all I have to do is take out his RG before it gets to my tower. Even if he can lightning it, it's fine. He just lightnings my tower, and now I know that I can go in for the kill here. I send out the fireball. I mess up here. See, I zapped too early because I didn't take into account. I like totally forgot about the blowback or the knockback of fireball. And if I had just been a little bit more patient, I think I could have just won right then and right there. Because I would zap out the Mega Minion, then my miner has enough health to kill off the tower. So to recap, I'd say that RG Furnace is very, like, the matchup is hard. You have to play really conservatively, know your limits, and just like overall have some pretty good crisis management, because there's gonna be a lot of points where they'll just drop an RG on you, and maybe you don't have an Inferno. Maybe like you just lose half of your tower health. It happens. So the last game, since the RG game was like so sloppy, I decided to pick a game where the whole game was like smooth. It was controlled, living up to the Minor Inferno control name. We're playing against the 2.8 Hog Tombstone deck right now, and I would say the biggest like obstacle for this deck is the Inferno Tower. Because when you play an Inferno Tower just like that, his Hog Rider will never make it through. Never. If you play it well, if you understand it. The only time it'll maybe get through is like in 2x elixir, where the Hog Rider can fireball the Inferno Tower. This is like assuming that you both are playing in a way where you guys aren't overextending. It is very easy for for us who's playing the Minor Inferno control to overextend, and then this is a 2.8 deck, this is a 3.0 deck. This deck is faster and can cycle quicker. In that position, the Hog Rider can win, but it's difficult. With this deck though, you can both defend and attack, and there's not really a way for the Hog Rider to be the Hog Rider player to be able to predict like every single miner, right? So eventually you're gonna win just through chip damage alone. Here I'm about to hit 10, so I just drop Mega Minion, I believe. Yep, I dropped Mega Minion and I'm waiting for him. He drops Ice Golem all the way at the back. I see that in my hand. I'm about to hit 10 again. I don't ever like... You shouldn't ever be floating elixir. You should always be thinking about the next move in your head. This game is very similar to like chess. But here's the miner. I'm going to miner this way for his tower. Just basically for his tower damage. See what he does. Because I know that, like, what can I do? I'm not gonna be setting up an Inferno in the middle. I'm not gonna be fireballing him. I'm not gonna be tapping him. So the only thing I can do is miner. Why don't I miner on this side? Because I have my Mega Minion here. Because he already has a push kind of started. Like, this is an Ice Golem, yeah. It's not really gonna do anything to the hog, to the miner, but he could just easily drop archers, which he has in his hand. Archers kill off the miner, and then now he has like a little mini push, and I don't want that. So I just miner on the other side and try to get damage or force his units to go the other way. He plays Tombstone too, and then he drops archers. I like to fireball out Tombstones because I believe that they stall out the game for a really, really long. And also you get tower damage. He fireballs me. Very interesting. Because it's still 2 minutes in the game. He put himself into that deficit. Imagine if he didn't fireball. He's not going to get through my Inferno Tower unless I mess up. That's how the game kind of works. I drop Princess at the bridge for damage. I know... Okay, there it is. There's the log. And now I know that the log is gone. I can push on him. There's Miner. I'm playing very safely here. I don't even play guards. Although I could. You can play guards here. Go, because he doesn't have log. But I elect to play very safely. Because I know that so long as I have enough for Inferno, this deck never gets past me. Just like that. Like, you don't want this Hog Rider getting any hits on your tower. Because the Hog Rider hit compared to a Miner hit, blow for blow, you want the hog every single time. He Tombstones again. I believe I fireball it here. Yep. I fireball it. And now I'm sitting here waiting. I'm like, so you drop Ice Golem, but I'm not going to really respond to it. I don't see a Hog Rider. But this is kind of cheeky. This is really cheeky. You guys see that? There's like one skeleton down there. The one skeleton supported by this Ice Golem actually takes like 700 damage off my tower. Really bad of me to have let that happen. 700 or was it? No, it was... Oh, it is like 700. So we just saw our princess get logged again. Opens us up to another push. So I'm gonna push on him. I do see the Mega Minion, but I'm gonna push anyways because I know there's no log. And knowing there's no log means that I'm gonna get something. I bring out his archers. Sitting here, I'm waiting. Fireball him again. And then I set up my Inferno. One thing I've learned, like, I've played both sides of this matchup pretty extensively. So, like, I already know that in 2 times elixir, this deck wants to fireball your Inferno Tower. That being said, don't play cards next to your Inferno Tower before you see that he's going to fireball it. Like, this Hog Rider deck doesn't run Zap, it doesn't run Lightning, so it has no way to, like, stunt the time of the Inferno Tower. So his goal is to fireball as early as possible, try to get that damage in and get through the Inferno. Knowing that, you have to just wait a little bit. You wait a little bit. If he doesn't do anything, then the Inferno Tower kills the hog. If he does fireball, then you play units after the fire. See here? I hit 3, I can drop guards. I think at most he gets like a hit here because I also drop Ice Spirit. I'm trying to conserve as much damage on this tower as possible because I know that my offense is a lot harder for him to deal with than his offense. He plays Hog Rider. I probably just gonna drop. This was a really juicy fireball, but by the time I hit 10, I was already hovered across these archers, so I just fireballed them. But yeah, like the name of the game right now is just defend, 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 defend. You don't want to be in a position where he can fireball you out the same way that you can fireball. He drops Ice Golem preemptively, thinking that I'll probably drop the miner. He's trying to catch it. I catch his archers. I'm going to fireball it for damage. This time I get the Mega Minion 2, and I zap it for good measure, making sure to fix my mistake like last time. He fireballs it. He misses the Inferno Tower. Before you guys like laugh at this, it's because he's actually fireballing really precisely. He's making sure to fireball in the spot where I've been playing my Inferno Tower the entire game, but I'm not. This time I know that he's going to fireball me, so I move the Inferno Tower up, like 1 or 2 tiles. So that's why he misses the Inferno Tower. And like with that miss, it pretty much sealed his deal. I play Princess. He drops like archers anticipating something. Princess does like 100 something to Crown Tower. Plus Fireball does 229. So you can sort of round that around to like 350 damage. And that's how I know that I can just like, as long as I get 1 hit on the tower. Yeah, I think this is easy. One of the few easy. Here's if you guys want their decks, he did something interesting here. Usually instead of Ice Golem, it's Princess, and in this variation where you run Zap and Log, it's also typically Mega Minion instead of Minion Horde. But you know, that's fine. Here's a typical RG Furnace. I believe the Fire Spirit should be Ice Spirit, but Fire Spirit works. That's the same deck that Ming beat Surgical Goblin with at the finals of SWC where it got famous. And then, of course, the infamous Hog Tombstone deck, 2.81. It has a lot of trouble against Infernal Towers. But this deck is still very solid. I've definitely lost both sides of the matchup. I think that's the end of the video. If there's anything else you guys want to watch me do, like I've actually done. I did a 12 run, did a 12 Grand Challenge run using this deck, this one. It's a giant graveyard furnace. If you guys want to see that, tell me in the comments. I'll probably do a video of that. On a replay. I say that and then practice match. I think this is probably one of the strongest decks in the meta at the moment. Graveyard, guys. Graveyard. You don't have Graveyard. It was bad, man. Alright. That's the end of the video. Thank you guys for watching. See you guys later.